You're saying that you would like a gentlemanly man, somebody who courts you, takes you on a date, all of these sorts of things?
Absolutely.
I'm a little bit in two minds here, because I can hear what you're saying, but then I can see that you're dressed as a cat.
I'm a dog, so...
And you call yourself a dog.
Woof, yes.
Do you think that that might be a deterrent for a man who is more traditional if you're dressing like a dog?
No.
So when you look at a relationship, are you looking at like a pet owner type relationship, or like two dogs in the relationship, or what's your ideal?
A partner who loves and respects me and sees me as an equal that I am.
But you see yourself as an actual dog, right? You said you like to go play fetch.
Woof, yes.
So how does that tie into your relationship? Like, what are you looking for if you're a dog?
I'm looking for somebody to throw me a ball and then also say, oh, hey, I appreciate...
Why have men become princesses? Please explain. Because we're out here walking on eggshells thinking, oh my god, if I say one wrong thing, he's gonna run. If I am not feminine enough, if I'm not enough of a chase, he's gonna run. Because they're like, no, I want it how I want it, when I want it. You know, I want to text you when I want to text you, want to call you when I want to call you. And all of that is good and fine. But then if you're a little bit assertive as a woman, if you're like, you know, let's get to it, or what's the point, or you call them out on something, they're like, okay, I'm gonna move on to the next girl who hasn't called my bluff yet.
The irony.
That's fine.
I will submit.
So I'll ask you again. If my understanding is correct, you would want your husband or boyfriend, in some hypothetical scenario where one of you has to take a bullet, for example, you would want your husband to sacrifice his life for you, but you're not willing to do a token gesture that he requests. Is that correct?
Yes, but you're spinning it in a way where it's...
How am I spinning it?
Because if someone's trying to kill me and my husband wants to protect me...
Sure, that's fine.
That's much more meaningful than...
Right, so he's willing to make...
request.
He's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice, and you're not even willing to make a minor sacrifice.
It's jovial. It's...
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's not... I mean, I just think that there's better things that we could be doing instead of me stroking your ego every single day.
Would it be so disruptive to your day to do a 5-second bow to your husband? Like, would that totally just destroy your plans? You wouldn't be able to do anything else?
Do you know why I wouldn't do that every single day?
Oh boy, these women aren't just looking for a husband, they're hunting for a full-time butler who moonlights as a bodyguard. Imagine if the Titanic sank today, who should be saved first? The hard-working men who keep the world running, of course. They're the ones making sure things actually get done. And where do the bed wenches and their little illegitimate sidekicks fit in? Well, they're last in line, like way at the end. It's almost like they're a societal afterthought. If they went down with the ship, let's be real, society wouldn't miss a beat. Single forever might just be their best bet at this point, considering their track record. So while they're busy looking for someone to cater to their every whim, the rest of us are shaking our heads and wondering why they haven't figured out that their demands are a one-way ticket to permanent single.
I'm a cheater. Of course I'm going to put all my DMs in general, so you can't see them. I'm a cheater. I didn't turn off my location. My phone just died. I'm a cheater. Of course I have 2 phones. I need them. I'm a cheater, but it's only because you cheated first.
Smith isn't a trad wife influencer. You're either a neoliberal capitalist feminist, you have internalized misogyny to unpack, or you are so brainwashed by America that you think it is this normal to be disconnected from your food. Let's get into all three, and I'm ready for the backlash on this one. Not only is it abnormal to be this disconnected from the food that you eat, it is uniquely American. People in Guatemala are grinding their own corn to make tortillas. People in China are making their own dumplings from scratch. People in Germany are making their own bread. People in Italy are making their own pasta and cheese. It's not that serious. And it's not more normal to eat a dinosaur-shaped chicken nugget that is 40% chicken with red 40 made by someone enslaved by the prison industrial complex, and it is definitely not more feminine. Both my parents work and they make their own yogurt, bread, desserts, pastries. If they want hummus, they start soaking chickpeas. And when I woke up wanting Belgian waffles, my dad would take out flour and vanilla, not a box and a microwave. And I'm sorry you didn't grow up like that. I really am. Not only is her husband frequently in the videos, not only cooking with her, but sometimes cooking for her, she frequently talks about working on her page. The only reason that you don't perceive it as her working, because the fields that she works in, modeling and social media, are female-dominated fields considered more feminine, and therefore you don't perceive it as a real job, respectable labor. As for so many people, feminism isn't about equality, equity, and liberation. It is about conforming to a man's world. It is about looking down on feminine perceived tasks and outsourcing them to less privileged women, because that's more feminine. Lastly, just because someone is beautiful and talented and interesting in a way that you might never be does not mean that you need to poke holes in them. There is plenty of toxic content on the internet and tradwife content on the internet, and she is not it.
Let me put it this way: with those wild, bulging eyes, this campaign-loving socialist feminist is giving off serious "I'll cut your shaft off while you sleep" vibes if she even suspects you're cheating. The woman's got that level of crazy you only see in movies, like she's one tofu steak away from going full-on psycho. Now, why is she like this, you ask? Simple. She's a vegan. And when all you're munching on is plants, you're not getting the nutrients your brain needs to function normally. So what happens? You go from chill to crazy real fast. It's like she's constantly running on low battery, and instead of charging up, she's spiraling into some kind of malnourished madness. She probably thinks she's some sort of crusading warrior for social justice, but in reality, she's just a few kale chips away from a total mental breakdown. She's got this delusional, self-righteous image of herself as the ultimate feminist hero, but let's be real, she's more like the villain in a horror movie, just waiting for the right moment to snap. So fellas, if you ever cross paths with someone like her, tread lightly. She might seem all about peace, love, and equality, but underneath, there's a whole lot of crazy just waiting to be unleashed. And trust me, you don't want to be around when it does.
Roy, nice to meet you.
I'm Lily, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My alter ego, his name is Daniel, and he's from Manchester.
Oh, whoa.
And he has a little British accent,
Oh,
you know.
nice. That's cool.
And it's actually...
This whole dating time's up. Thanks for playing.
They always be saying they want a traditional woman, like, oh, can you cook? Can you do it? You not a traditional man.
Thank you.
Be
Tell
a
them
traditional
again.
man. Is you even a breadwinner, boo? Sit down.
Have you built a house?
Have you built a house, baby? Y'all want traditional women. Y'all not traditional men. Period.
They don't deserve a traditional woman.
No, you don't. You don't, boo. You should be submissive to me, actually. Yeah.
She said it.
What languages?
Don't like 50-50. I don't do coffee dates. I don't care how much money I ever make. I still want my man to pay for everything. He should pick me up. He should drop me off. He should buy me Ubers. In exchange, he gets to not embarrass me and breathe my air. I think it's pretty fair. I think we're even Stevens. Otherwise, I don't need a man just to have a man. This is for me. For the guys who are mad, though, cry about it.
All right, detectives, let's unravel the mystery of the underdeveloped mind in the Western dating scene. Picture this: Western media has been feeding women a diet of you can be anything and ask for whatever you want. While in reality, many of them are stuck in a perpetual state of adolescence. It's like they're living in a fairy tale where the rules of adulthood simply don't apply. Take this chick, for example. She's out there claiming that the reward for her partner's loyalty is not embarrassing her and sharing the same atmosphere. Really? That's her idea of a prize? It's like winning a medal for just showing up to the race. And let's not forget the soy boys in the mix playing the identity game, adopting fake accents like Madonna, and pretending to be various household pets, all while snapping selfies with Mickey Mouse ears. And they're doing this at 38 with 2 kids and a mountain of debt. Classic. The underlying issue here is that these women never had to grow up. If a man chooses to date a modern woman, he's essentially dating a child. Seriously, the lines are so blurred between the two demographics that it's hard to tell the difference. They're entitled beyond belief, convinced the universe revolves around them, and they've mastered the art of playing pretend whenever reality doesn't play along. And here's where it gets even more bizarre: they expect their partners to encourage this childish behavior, taking on the role of a parent rather than a spouse. When real men don't tolerate this for more than a week, these women turn around and claim we didn't hold up our end of the bargain. It's like being stuck in a never-ending game of he said, she said, where the rules keep changing and the goalposts keep moving. In the end, it's clear that the underdeveloped mindset of many modern women is a major obstacle. They demand maturity from their partners while failing to offer any themselves, and when things don't go their way, they blame everyone but themselves. It's a wild ride. But hey, someone's got to be the Sherlock Holmes in this crazy dating game.
This is me putting Mia Khalifa behind me, and this is me like trying to be a real human. Did not work. Everyone in the office recognized me. It was a very uncomfortable work environment, not because anyone was overtly inappropriate. It was just simply being in an office, knowing anyone who walked through did a double take and is like, are you? So that was uncomfortable.
All right, folks, let's dive into the next case who's really losing traditional values. Spoiler alert, it's not men. Let's start with the dramatic claims from some so-called experts like the maniac insisting that every guy should build a house and feminist Saint Mia Khalifa. According to them, men are losing their edge, Really? This tired argument gets recycled across every mainstream outlet like it's the latest fashion trend. Meanwhile, Western women are out here racking up body counts, and not just casually. Some have turned it into a profession, hopping on platforms like OnlyFans and calling themselves glorified escorts. And then, when decent guys aren't biting, they blame us for their own missteps, as if we're responsible for their past choices. Let's break this down. Men who stick to traditional values have always been the bedrock of those traditions. Why? Because we literally invented them. Traditional men are the standard, the original blueprint. Civilization itself is a testament to this. It's a long-standing product of mutual respect and cooperation. Men have historically risked their lives to uphold this status quo, and we've stayed true to it. The idea of an untraditional man is a contradiction in terms. Now, let's use an analogy to make this clear. Imagine you're at a restaurant. If you knock over a glass and it shatters, that doesn't magically change because you try to blame someone else. The waiter, the manager, and everyone nearby saw what happened. The glass breaking is a result of your actions and thoughts, no matter how you spin it. Similarly, the current state of dating and relationships isn't altered by empty rhetoric or finger-pointing. The real issue boils down to fundamental differences in nature. Men have consistently upheld traditional values, while the narrative about men losing their edge often ignores the fact that women have drifted from these traditions. Instead of facing up to this reality, the blame is shifted. So in this case, the real question is who's truly lost touch with tradition? The evidence points to a shift away from traditional values on the other side of the table.
I will speak to cheating women. They have zero remorse. This is what women do compared to men. Men usually, when they cheat, they start to feel a bit of guilt, so they're nicer to their wife. They might buy her something, be a bit more grateful, like, you're a ride or die, like, poor girl, if she knew what I was doing, let me be nice to her. Women, what they want to do to get rid of that dissonance of what they're actually engaging in is they start putting their husband down. They start thinking, my husband's such an idiot. He's so dumb. He's so stupid. By putting him down, they feel less guilty about going somewhere else. They justify it in their brain. It's different. The guilt is greater when a man is cheating on a woman.
Well, the math checks out.
Trevor. That is Streak?
Yeah.
He was trying to come see you?
Huh?
He said, what you doing tonight?
Oh, no.
She trying to link with him?
She trying to link. Yo, what you texting her like that? What you texting her like that? Wait, you didn't know they were texting? No.
No, it's not bad, I promise.
No,
it's not bad.
No, let me look at this. No, what is it?
Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
Ah, the classic case of lost loyalty, one of those mysteries that's as easy to crack as an open book. It boils down to this: men cheat to stay, women cheat to leave. This isn't about giving a free pass to disloyalty, but it does lay bare some intriguing psychological patterns. Women, when they're overwhelmed with negative emotions, think 70 to 80% chaos tend to operate like a whirlwind. This isn't just a quirky trait, it's a fundamental part of how they process and express their feelings. When women are in charge, buckle up like you're in an F1 car, because it's going to be a wild ride. Contrast this with men, who are generally taught from a young age to handle emotions in a more controlled manner. When men are steering, things tend to run more smoothly. Here's the kicker: male sexual freedom doesn't usually cause the same kind of havoc as female sexual freedom. Think of it this way: if Phil goes all out at a party and Mike is next to him, Mike's probably taking a nap while Phil's breaking out the karaoke. You'd want to give the last beer to Mike, he's less likely to trash the place. This analogy highlights the fact that when men misbehave, the consequences are often contained. On the flip side, infidelity for women isn't just a lapse in judgment, it's more like a strategic move in a high-stakes game of chess. It's often used to create chaos or inflict emotional damage. Women might cheat not just because they're unhappy, but because it's a way to exert control or disrupt stability. Their actions are frequently driven by underlying motivations that extend beyond mere missteps. So what does this all mean? It's not about slapping labels on either gender, but understanding the deeper dynamics at play. Men and women navigate emotions and relationships differently, and these differences can lead to dramatically different outcomes in terms of loyalty and stability.
On the train, and look at all these men. What happened to giving up your seat for women? No man offered me a seat. Excuse me, are you going to get up?
What?
Are you going to get up?
Are you pregnant?
No.
Are you for equality?
Yes.
Off.
No respect. Chivalry is dead.
Justice has been served.
Does body count matter, and what is your body count?
Body count doesn't matter, and I don't know what my body count is, unfortunately. Okay, what was the question again?
What is your body count if you know, and does it matter?
I have no idea what my body count is, and no, I don't give a fuck about what your body count is. As long as you're a good person.
Okay. What would you guesstimate if you had to?
Mine, I think it's over 100 for sure.
Ah, the elusive body counter puzzle that's almost impossible to solve. Not because the numbers aren't shockingly high, but because the real figures are often shrouded in secrecy. Here's the deal. Gentlemen, when a woman tells you her body count, you can bet it's a carefully curated number that's always on the low end of reality. Once upon a time, women might have been honest about their past flings, but those days are long gone. Now, if a woman says she's been with a few guys, you can safely add a few zeros to that count. If she says 5, she's probably somewhere in the double digits. And if she proudly announces that she's been with around 20, it's time to grab your Geiger counter because you're dealing with a radioactive fallout zone of relationship hazards. Take a look at the women flaunting their so-called empowerment with bizarre outfits and cringeworthy antics. They'll claim body count doesn't matter, that kindness and character are what truly count. Meanwhile, they expect men to bury their heads in the sand and accept whatever they're told. Spoiler alert, it's not romantic, it's misleading. Here's the kicker: men thrive on honesty. We need transparency like we need air. It's the bedrock of trust and collaboration, whether we're building skyscrapers or just navigating the dating scene. We live in a world where deceit is about as appealing as a root canal. In the Western world, or really any world where secrecy reigns, dishonesty has become a fashion statement. Women are trained to be vague, and it's seen as chic or cute to keep secrets. But here's the truth: men are not signing up for this mystery novel of deceit anymore. It's become a deal breaker, and that's why more and more guys are choosing to steer clear of the dating game entirely. Transparency isn't just a preference, it's a necessity. So when dealing with the modern dating scene, remember this: the less you know, the more dangerous the game. Keep your wits about you and don't be fooled by the illusion of charm and secrecy. The truth is always more attractive than the mystery.
And I think it backfired anyway. All it showed was that as sad as you can be as a single woman, you'll never be as sad and as heartbroken as a married woman. Whereas for men, it's definitely not the same, which is why they're trying to threaten us with that reality. It's like, sir, no, you would be the one that's really, really sad and lonely and dirty and grimy and unhealthy, forgotten by society when you live alone, when you're single. That's not really ever the case for women. It's really uncanny because as they're trying to push this trope of like single women are so sad and whatever, at the same time, there's so many movies showcasing like husbands cheating on their wives and like right in front of them, and like the more powerful a man is, the more likely he's just to play in your face, to like cheat on your face, to, you know, embarrass you on a national level scale. It's like it might have worked if they were also showing like happy marriages on screen, but the truth is we only ever see basically abusive marriages for the plot. It's funny because even if you think about like Sex and the City, the happiest that you see any of those women is when we first meet them and they're like mostly single. They're like, I'm out here, I'm ready to mingle. As soon as any of them enters into a committed relationship, that's when the problems start, right? There's like very few men that we see on TV that really bring value to a woman's life and that really make her life any better than it was when she was single. Now they have to worry about, you know, coming home to this man on time or whatever. Now they can't have all this fun time with their girls. Now they got to worry about, well, I bagged a man, but he's always looking around. He's always trying to cheat on me. Now I got to keep tabs on him because if I don't, then somebody else is gonna, you know, catch his eye and get his attention, and then I won't be, you know, his woman anymore, and God forbid that happens. Their lives didn't really get better once they had like children with men. That brought a whole new set of problems, you know, for both Charlotte, for Miranda. Like Miranda had to marry a guy that she only saw as like a friends with benefits kind of thing. With Charlotte, like end up getting remarried, and then there was that thing with the babysitter, like she was worried her husband was looking, and that whole problem was only solved because they found out the babysitter is like not into men, so she wasn't really a threat after all. Like we didn't even deal with the fact that her husband shouldn't even be tempted by that is a child compared to him. Like, no. It's like it was on Miranda to worry about it, and like thank goodness, you know, the babysitter was, because otherwise it would have been completely unacceptable and like basically only a matter of time before he found some excuse to like get into bed with his babysitter. Like, tell me how that's better than like living by yourself, having drinks out with the girls every couple of nights, like, and just dating casually. How is that better? That just seems like you have a whole nother headache to carry on your shoulders. Now you have to like emotionally and physically regulate this grown man that's living in your house. How is that better? And then the double standards too of like, well, if a man is strong and powerful, then you can't expect him not to cheat because all the options are out there for him and he can only be so strong. You know, he can only say no this many times, you know, and then he's just going to be forced to like cheat on you, so you better accept that. But at the same time, if you're a powerful woman, then of course you can't be surprised when a man cheats on you, because you've emasculated him and he needs to find his masculinity again, because how can he feel like a man, you know, when he's next to you and you're so powerful and you're taking up all the space in the room. Either way, when a woman cheats, it's always bad. It's always bad when a woman cheats. She never has any excuse. She should be as neglected, as abandoned, as whatever, as where the man leaves her, and she should just stay right there waiting for him to come home from one of his escapades, from one of his affairs, and to maybe shower her with a little bit of attention because he feels guilty for cheating on her. And it's like, well, at least he's not like mean to her. I'm still not really surprised that women saw all that and were like, objectively being single still looks and sounds better. Because you think about older single women and it's always like a badass auntie or a badass grandma, you know, they always look put together, fabulous, they always have like a bunch of clothes and stuff and a bunch of money, they're always generous with their time, they're generous with their money. Women who get married to men and stay with men for a long time just don't have that same kind of air of confidence about them. They don't have that same kind of freedom, they don't have that same kind of like, they've spoiled themselves, they've like, you know, dedicated a lot of time to themselves. Their bar is high for how people treat them, for how people talk to them. Like, that's not what you see from women who have been married for a long time. They tend to be a little bit more subdued. They tend to, their life still tends to revolve around their husband, even in their old age. It's like, oh, well, you know, he still does this, and I just, you know, keep it pushing. We've been together, you know, 50 years. Like, but then, you know, you see lots of women in their old age who are like, yeah, I've been married like 5 times and you couldn't pay me enough to do it again. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I don't care. I don't care for men anymore. They literally don't benefit me. They don't bring anything to my life. They just want someone to take care of them in their old age. And they have like no goals. They have no interest. They have nothing. They just want to like lay around and then die. And it's like, I'd rather just be out there living my own life. I'd rather be out there traveling the world. I'd rather be out there collecting, you know, clothes or vintage pieces or decorating my home or, you know, just living in peace, just being left alone. There's no demands on my time. There's no like, not somebody that's just always sucking all the air out of the room. They somehow still manage to make being single look better than being married, even though they tried so hard to make it seem like it's the worst fate that a woman could suffer, like left alone without a man, when it's really like that's actually her gateway to freedom. That's her gateway to like living a satisfying life in which she feels like she hasn't missed out on anything, in which she gets to travel, in which she gets to look and feel fabulous, in which she gets to still have lots of meaningful connections with lots of other people instead of just like some old crotchety man. Is her entire life and waking up and making him breakfast and then making sure you're home to make him lunch and making sure his favorite jammies are washed. No. In my opinion, it really backfired like nothing else, but we'll let them figure it out. Godspeed.
This thought really believes TV is the gospel truth. Seriously, you can't make this stuff up. There's no media campaign showing the real behind the scenes of being single crying into a tub of ice cream while scrolling through old dating apps at 2 a.m. Nope. They're pushing the fantasy where post-wall flings with high-value men are just waiting around the corner. It's like watching a cooking show where every dish turns out perfect, but they conveniently forget to show you the kitchen disasters and burnt dinners. TV is called programming for a reason. It's literally programmed to warp your view of reality. Just look at the creator of Sex and the City, who now regrets being the ultimate boss lady instead of settling down and having kids. She's basically trashed her own show with a lifetime of regret. Yet these bed witches are still clutching onto the fairy tale, believing that post-wall happiness is just a few clicks away. It's like they think Santa's real, and that all their dating dreams will magically come true. Spoiler alert, Santa isn't real, and neither is that fairy tale romance after the wall. And let's talk about their default mindset that every man will cheat. It's no surprise when you've been rode hard and put away wet by players. They've got PTSD from chasing after guys who are 6 feet tall with six-pack abs, because those men have all the options in the world. These modern women in their prime dismiss honest, good men as boring and lame, thinking they're the prize. But when they finally hit the wall and their options are about as plentiful as a vegan buffet at a steakhouse, suddenly they're head over heels for those boring guys. It's like they have to be hit with a reality check before they realize the true value of a decent, stable guy. Classic case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone, but with a side of TV delusion and a sprinkle of regret.
This girl was doing that to me, talking to other dudes in the bar, and I just went over to him, and I said, excuse me, sir, I go, can you give her a ride home? Because I'm leaving. And I left her. I left her in the city. I was living in Jersey.
Good for you.
All right, let's add some flair to this. Here's the deal, maybe I'm laying it on thick. But that doesn't mean this path isn't the right one. Some guys get burned, think of it as dating's version of a bad haircut. Others, though, get wise early and dodge the drama like pros. But no matter where you fall on the spectrum, the message is crystal clear. It's not rocket science to see what the modern dating game has become. The modern woman? She's a different breed. And it's not exactly a fairy tale unless you're into writing your own sad story. Here's the truth, we're men. We tackle challenges like they're a morning workout, and channeling our inner Ricky Bobby, we piss excellence. By skipping the mess and staying sharp. There's nothing out there that's going to stop us from making the most of our lives. All that's left is to grab every opportunity, laugh in the face of adversity, and make each minute count like it's your last slice of pizza. So forget the drama, embrace the journey, and let's be honest, life's too short to waste on anything but the best. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value in this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Leave a comment and share this with others. See you in the next video. Until then, take care.